they get away with too much for too long. They've got away with a lack of investment because of a lack of courage for many people to speak out against it. And it needs to be called out. There is absolutely no explainable reason to many people why that wage bill's gone up so much in a time where it was projected to go down significantly. And there's no answers to that. So for all the smart asses that are in the chat yesterday saying, read it, the information's out there, it's not hard. The information's limited. The full accounts hadn't been published. And even when it is, you can't see who gets what. So you don't know anything, like I said to you yesterday, when you tried to come in and belittle us. You're part of the problem. You're part of the people that have let these owners get away from it. And it's not good enough from them. The contract situation now, I'm absolutely convinced they're lowballed. All the players. I'm 100% convinced they're lowballed. And that's why we're not seeing these contracts being done. So today, there seems to be a bit of a PR campaign from the journalists around the club. Richard Hughes inherited those contract issues, but otherwise the transition has been smooth, says Paul Joyce. Smooth. If doing fuck all is smooth, then yes, it's been smooth. FSG's reaction to the unexpected upheaval of Klopp leaving was, according to another source, to go back to smart people who make brave, clever decisions, writes Paul Joyce. Brave, clever decisions. Sitting on your hands, doing nothing and lowballing is being applauded now. So this source is obviously, again, the ones briefing all of this Tickle John's nuts nonsense to the journalists. Slot has chosen evolution over revolution, writes Paul Joyce. There were no demands about signings, so he could put his own stamp on the team outside of his work on the training pitch. So well done, Liverpool have found the only ever manager in the history of football who doesn't want to strengthen, according to the sources at the club. Now, everybody understood that he'd want to assess the squad. But to say that he still doesn't want signings, or that he's happy with what he has, nonsense, bullshit. Al Hilal were interested in signing Darwin Núñez this window, and they were willing to pay him wages of about £29 million a year, by the way. Ian Doyle, another journalist, said, it would be a surprise, if not an entirely uncharacteristic one, given the shock capture of Luis Diaz 3 years ago, if Liverpool were to strengthen their personnel during the remaining days of the window. So, again today, no accident, these journalists briefed, everything's great, don't expect any business, Liverpool are happy, Slot's happy, everybody's happy, everything's great, nothing to see here. Again, bullshit. They've no shame or a backbone, and I don't understand how they can look themselves in the mirror and write this tripe, knowing that it's horseshit. So the real question should be, what has Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards done since they've returned to the club? What has been the smooth transition that's been spoken about? Because again, if doing nothing is a smooth transition, then yeah, job done. You brought in Arne Slot, brilliant. Now you're not backing the man. And yet again, we're seeing cheapness being painted as genius. Being painted as bold and clever strategy. No, it's cheapness. End of discussion. Cheapness. And these so-called journalists really need to give their heads a wobble. Because nobody's believing it anymore. I looked around at some of my competition's numbers tonight on their live streams and what they were doing, and it was embarrassing. Embarrassing. Especially when they're trying to make out like a late bid for Kirkes could happen as they're sitting there playing poker. Shocking. But cool. Enjoy the 300 viewers because you deserve them. Luke said, Craig, how are you doing? Me and my friends were talking and we were thinking that Liverpool could go the same way as United because of the owners. See, say what you want about the Glazers, and there is a lot to despise them about. But they spent. United fans can never say their managers weren't given money. They can say they wasted it, and they can say that the directors of football and all these other important positions weren't filled properly. But they've been given a lot of money. And Liverpool Football Club, as we pointed out last night, are languishing way down the net spend charts. And as Mo said in that podcast, and as I'll reiterate again, net spend isn't the be all and end all. but it's a very, very good indicator. And again, one more takeaway from that podcast. FSG are one of the few owners from the 92 clubs in the whole English football pyramid, from the Premier League all the way down to League Two, that don't invest any of their own money, none, into the football club. Zero. That's unacceptable. So the wage bill goes up despite no contract increases and high earners going off it. Why is that? And a very credible train of thought is that, yes, they don't take dividends as owners, but they may be taking tasty little executive payments and payoffs, because there's no other reason that wage bill's gone that high. None. Don't dare question our venture capitalist overlords unless it affects me and my ticket prices, and then take the flags down in Jurgen's last Euro home game. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. You know, belittle everybody else. Mock the rest of us for having a pair of balls. I think Hughes and Edwards are robbing a living at Liverpool, said David Mass. It's just my opinion. I think that this is only the tip of the iceberg, in all honesty. And I'm now further convinced than ever that Jurgen Klopp left partly because he was fed up of the miserly ways of these owners. Because it's funny that every manager we have seems to not want to sign anybody, isn't it? They look around and they think, wow, we can't possibly improve here. No players in the world out there for little old Liverpool. But yet every other club can do it. It's not good enough. Rowdy8 said, dude, seriously read some non-paying comments. I do, mate. But, again, I have my stuff that I want to say as well. So, I'll get round to as many comments as I can. I always try to keep you guys interactive, but please drop the entitlement, because it doesn't sit well. Obviously, I have to give preference to the comments from people who've spent money. You know, I don't ask anybody to spend any money. I don't sell you things other than, of course, our promotional partners. So bear with me, bro. I'm doing my best here. But it's been an emotional day for me. Said, but we all know the FSG never going to spend any money, so there's no point in talking about signings, unfortunately. Yes, Eddie, but we do have to keep calling them out. Because, again, they get away without being answerable to anybody. Because too many people are in their pockets and don't have the morals, the courage, whatever phrase you want to use, to actually do some digging. LFC Love said, can't question your honesty and loyalty, Craig. And F off FSG. Thank you, man. Look, as I've said, I only want the best for the club, same as everybody else. And I'm not toxic, and I don't go in on players publicly on social media, and I don't go in their DMs, and I give an opinion on a performance, and then I support the players and the manager. But the owners, they're a whole another ballpark, because they're taking everybody for fools, in my opinion, and they get away with it. Look up at the Jen Chang situation as well. Have a little Google and research of that one.